Imagine having a job in which you risk your life daily without even being aware. Imagine your body slowly deteriorating right before your eyes. Your jaw begins to feel weak, your teeth fall out, your joints ache. These are symptoms of what the Radium Girls experienced prior to their death. The Radium Girls was a nickname given to women who worked in the field that was killer. However, they were told that it was very harmless. They were told it was harmless multiple times, until they realized they were blatantly lied to. The history of the Radium Girls can help teach our society how little women were valued, and this was one of the first cases in which employers actually took responsibility for their employees' health and safety. I'm going to describe the origin of the radium and what that is, the horrible workplace these women had to endure, as well as how this can affect the future workplace and how it did. My first point is the radium rays that spread throughout America. During the early 1900s, two pioneers of the name Marie and Pierre Curie actually discovered radium. This is an element that was intriguing to them because it glowed. It was believed that radium could actually treat cancer as well as other diseases. Once people heard this, they referred to this substance as a miracle substance, according to nuclearmuseum.com. Therefore, radium was put in all sorts of cosmetics and pharmacy products. As the popularity of this radium rose, the demand took an extreme spike. The popular products that claimed to have radium actually did not, because the demand for this was outreaching the ability to extract the actual metal, so most of these products rarely had radium in them. By 1915, the radium was actually valued at $1.9 million, according to Birch.com. An American inventor by the name of William Hammer went to Paris to obtain a sample of this due to the craze. He wanted to see what this was all about, and he actually created a glow-in-the-dark paint by mixing it with glue and a zinc sulfide. This paint is what was used by the U.S. Radium Corporation to manufacture watches with radium-painted dials, according to nuclearmuseum.com. This leads us into our second point, the Radium Girls and the workplace they endured. Because of this paint, this invention, many factories began to create these watches and hire women to paint them. This is an example of women painting all of these watches. The watches would be looking like this, glowing, and women would paint them by hand. They were actually instructed to lick the tip of the paintbrush whenever they went to paint the dial to make it a more precise brush stroke because the dials were so small. They were told many times that this was very safe, harmless. However, women would come home from a shift and their body would be literally glowing. Their skin and clothes would be glowing. The body actually mistaked this radium as calcium, and the bones began to fill up with radium rather than calcium. And this resulted into many broken bones, collapsed spines, and missing teeth. One woman's jaw actually became completely unhinged due to the radium. By 1920, over 50 women died from this, according to nuclearmuseum.com. Although compensation was tried, many women did not get what they deserved. Those lucky enough to survive, such as Grace Fryer, actually filed lawsuits against the U.S. Radium Department, and she and 4 other Radium Girls got $10,000 as compensation, as well as $600 annually. However, none of them survived longer than 2 years, according to nuclearmuseum.com. This leads me to my third point, the resolutions of the radium women. We can learn that women were crucial to the economy. However, they were seen as very little and inferior. Also, we can learn that employee health and safety measures were greatly increased after the radium incident, And this was one of the first times in which companies actually took responsibility for their employees' health and safety. The Radium women made a historical landmark not only for women's values in the workplace, but also for employee health and safety precautions. By looking back at times where women were treated poorly in the workplace, we can realize how far we've come as a society. Now, I hope you are more knowledgeable on the subject of the radium, the women that had to endure the toxic chemical and consequences, as well as the resolutions and influences this had on America. Future generations can learn to appreciate the impact these women had and hold empathy for the lives that were lost.